Hi everybody, welcome back to week number 3 of my Fluffiest Friends Spotlight Stamping class. For week number 3, I did share a little sneak peek on last week's video, but if you're new to this class or new to this video, here it is for the first time. So I've used the ducks or the chicks from the Fluffiest Friends stamp set. I'll just hold that up here, and I've used the nest image. And I've gone with a similar style to the other 2 cards in this month's class. And I've just shown you how to use those images. So in this video, you will see some colouring techniques and some simple ideas to get the most out of this set. Products that I've used a variety of colours there. I've used mostly browns. I think I've used dark plum cake and, excuse me, and my SU100 pen. I've used Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lolly for the birds. You've got a little bit of pecan pie ink blending there. The dies are everything you need is in your kit if you are following along at home. And then you have a little bit of choice. So you've got some choice because you'll notice that you will have 2 plain pieces of white card in your kit, whereas one of my back piece is embossed. So this is a chance for you to dig out those embossing folders, see which ones are your favourite and use them. You will need in here, you've got some bits and pieces. You should have a branch as well. My branch is here, it's fallen off. So this is a branch, you've got some leaves, you've got a white circle and you've got a strip for your sentiment. So I'll just pop those bits over there. Okay, and the first thing we can do is we can start to build our card. Okay, so you've got a plain piece of white that is just going to get stuck into the inside of your card for a little bit of strength and to give you a nice clean space to write on. And then the embossing folder I've used a sort of crisscross embossing folder. This is one of the basic embossing folders in the online exclusives, which are really handy. You get 3 in a pack and they're really lovely patterns as well. You'll see the other 2 in the pack have been used on earlier cards in this class. But have a look at which ones are your favourite, which ones you think will fit nicely, and use those. Okay, so that's my card started to build quite nicely. I can now put that to one side and I can do a little bit of ink blending. Okay, so for my ink blending, I'm going to need my white circle and I'm going to create a little bit of detail along the bottom. Now, use the colours that you have. The reason I've used the crumb cake and kept the card quite plain is so that you can use whatever takes your fancy in your own craft room. So add yourself a little bit of colour. Remember that when you're blending, your ink will dry lighter. So if you want it to be quite dark, make sure that it's even darker than you'd like it to start with. Okay. So I'm adding my ink sort of 1/3 of the bottom, like so. And that is now ready to put on my card. But before I do that, I'm going to take a piece of linen thread and I'm going to create a little effect of a bow. So I'm just folding it over 3 times. And then I want a little bit of tear and tape, not much, about a centimetre, centimetre and a half. And then make sure you've got the bottom. You want to hold it down and secure it. So that then gives you the effect of a bow without having to tie one. And then I'm going to stick that down to my card with a dimensional or an area of dimensionals. Okay. Pop that on so that the brown is at the bottom. My bow is the other side to what it is on here, and that's okay. I'm terrible with getting my left and right when things are mirrored. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tree branch, if I can pick it up, my tree branch, and I'm going to stick this down. Just use a little bit of wet glue sort of at the top. Like so. Okay. And then it's a case of just putting on your leaves. So choose the leaves that you want. You've got quite a few leaves in your pack. You don't want to use them all on this card because you'll need some of them for the last card. And the reason I'm doing this first is so that I can position my birds. If I did this bit first, I run the risk. If I did this bit last, I run the risk of not having enough space to get those little birds on. I'm going to put a little in here. Okay, so there are my leaves, and that's a really nice set of dies, those ones. I'm going to put my card to one side now. I'm going to bring in some plain white paper, card even, to do my stamping. So for my stamping, as always, I'm going to stamp with Memento ink. So give that a nice coverage of ink, like so. And the same for the birds. Now the birds, although it looks like there's 3 of them in a row, it's actually only one stamp. So you want to stamp 3 of these. There is a die for these birds, but if you wanted to, you could obviously cut around them if you don't have the dies. The same with the nest. There's a die for the nest, but it's quite a straightforward stamp to cut around. Okay. I'm going to start with my birds, and I'm going to use a light lemon lolly blend, and I'm going to colour in their tummies. Okay. So really lightly, and then I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight light blend to colour in, just give them a wash of colour all over. Now, although that's quite a small image, we're going to add a little bit of extra detail. I'm going to highlight the wing with a dark Daffodil Delight, and then the same with the other images. There's some sort of stitching around them that I'm just using as my sort of guide for some shadowing. These birds also look really lovely coloured in with pencils, which is what I've done on the stamp set. So these have all been coloured with pencils. So whatever your choice of colouring medium, you can create some really super cute images. Right. So that's a little bit of dark there, and I'm going to go back to my light daffodil blend, and I'm going to merge the sort of colours together, blend them together. Like so. So there are my little birdies all done. Oh no, there isn't. I need to colour the beak in. For the beak, I've just used light pumpkin pie. And that's the birdies. All done. For the nest, I'm using dark crumb cake. And I'm going to colour sort of the main bit of the nest in. Okay. We don't want to see daylight. And then I'm going to take my SU100, just go around, just colouring some of those sticks on the outer edge. To get that sort of blended look. Like so. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to use the dies to cut them out. Now in the dies, I have this one here for the nest, and then I have this one here for the birds. So let's just cut those out. I'm just going to use my washi tape to secure that in place. And then the same with the birds. Let's cut them out. So just bear with me a moment. I've got my cutting machine on a trolley, so that's the sort of noise that you're hearing as I'm rolling that through. So there's the nest, there's a bird. I absolutely love bird stamps. I really enjoy colouring them and bringing them to life. There's number 2. And then last but not least, we have number 3. Okay, there we go. So 3 little birds and a nest. And we can put that together now. So the nest I'm going to put on with a couple of little dimensionals for some height. And I'm going to put those dimensionals at the bottom of the nest. Because what we want to do is we want to be able to slide the birds in behind. I'm going to put that about there. And then we want a dimensional on the back of each little bird. And then you're going to slide. I'm going to put the middle one in first. And this is where we need to be mindful of those. This is why we put the tree on first. 1, 2, and then 3. So cute. And then the last thing we've got to do is our sentiment. Now, because I've created a set of cards, I've used the same ink colour, Sweet Sorbet. You may want to use something different. You may have used something different already. And then the sentiment I'm using is congratulations. And that comes from the Best Family Ever stamp set. This one here, Best Family Ever. Because the Fluffiest Friends don't have any sentiments in, it's a great set to pair it with. And there's all different sentiments to choose from. So now let's just trim this little banner down a bit. And that can get stuck on there. Now all I've done to finish my card off is I've added a couple of little gems, so feel free to use the gems in your pack. And that is our 3rd card all finished. Next week is our final card, card number 4, and it is going to be using the last image in the stamp set, which is the little bear. So do join me next Tuesday, same place, same time, same place, to show you how I've put card number 3 all together. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If anyone has any comments or questions, please do get in touch. And as always, if you don't already subscribe, hit subscribe and you will be reminded of future videos. Have a great day. Bye for now.